Okay, I think we're live. Hey guys, um, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. You could say this is the pregame for the Halloween party tonight. Yeah, and that is still going on. That's 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. So that gives me like a little bit of an opportunity to advertise that too. So anybody who wants to come to that, I put the link out on it's on my Telegram group, it's on my Discord group, it's on Facebook. I put it out everywhere. So if you really want to join us and you want the link, you can email me, and my email's in the description on my YouTube channel. But this is going to be something a little bit different. This, like I said, will be the pregame. I have with me Ray in California, and Ray's a teacher, but he's also a researcher, and he's an amazing researcher. He comes up with all kinds of good information, and he watches my show too, and and he watches a lot of other shows, and he has a really good opinion about what's going on, and you know he's going to share some stuff with us today. So Ray, thanks so much. How are you?
Oh, Rob, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks again for having me. Happy Halloween to you, Rob, and to everyone in your awesome audience at the Typical Skeptic Podcast. And happy Halloween to everyone celebrating across the country, around the world, off planet, throughout the galaxy, and beyond. My name is Ray, and I have two scary things to share today. First, it's Secret Space Program Story Time with Ray. Rob's letting me share a short story I wrote about cloning, and it comes with breaks after each page. And the second thing I hope to share is a little video clip about how the people at Montauk mess with history, and that always sounds scary to me. All right, so if you're ready, Rob, I'm going to begin the story.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here I go. For Halloween, I wrote this scary story about cloning in the secret space programs. The plot is inspired from the testimony of secret space program experiencers, and the whole story revolves around bananas. Almost everybody likes bananas. Bananas, like many plants and animals, come from outer space. A lot of people might say that makes sense, including scientists. Bananas and the trees they come from are unlike other fruit and plants. Bananas are to other fruit what Australian wildlife is to the rest of the planet's wildlife. Bananas are the kangaroos hopping around in a herd of buffalo. Indeed, esoteric knowledge indicates that many plants and animals were brought to Earth during its seeding with the intention of creating a galactic library of flora and fauna here. The great variety of life here on Earth makes Earth very special and unique in this part of our galaxy. The idea that anything could come from another planet like that sure seems to make sense when you consider the banana.
Why do you think the banana come from another planet? What makes you think that?
Well, I've learned about it in two different places or two different ways. I mean, I've seen so many videos, I couldn't tell you where I've seen it, but I've heard it repeated that when we seeded planet Earth, we brought in animals and plants from other parts of the galaxy. One plant I'd like to mention, by the way, is the plant called marijuana. I believe I've heard in multiple places that it comes from the Sirius star system. But bananas were obviously so nutritious and delicious. They had to put that one on Earth. That's a good one, right?
Yeah, my favorite's watermelon, to be honest, because it's so good for you. It's really good for you. It's packed with vitamin C, and it has lycopene in it, which helps fight cancer. And so that had to come from somewhere else too. But I think everything did. I think the whole Earth was terraformed because I think humans were brought here from somewhere else, or either that, or we were something, and then we were genetically modified into what we are now. Which doesn't fare well with the Earth for whatever reason. Like our bodies don't do well here. It's weird.
Oh, I'm so glad that I'm on your show because usually I'm only like watching and I hear you say these great things and I don't get to interact the way I can right now. I agree with all the things you said. Earth was seeded, humans were created. I think it happens all the time. And I forgot the last comment. Oh, it's about plants. They put all the plants here that our bodies need. Our bodies, granted, it's a tough place where we are right now. It's poison like crazy, and there's bad vibrations, and the bad vibrations have been twisted on purpose, of course, to bother us. But in general, the whole plan was at the beginning, here's all these beautiful plants, here's a beautiful Earth, knock yourselves out and have a good time down there. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but then somewhere it got all corrupted,
Yeah, well, that's awesome, Rob. Maybe I could tell you about part of the ways it got corrupted. You ready for the next page?
I'm ready.
All right, here. Thanks, Rob. Right on. So when I say banana, you're probably thinking of the yummy, yellow, crescent-shaped fruit that's the that's fun to use as a play telephone. I know there's a little red banana that I've seen in the market, which I presume is a banana cousin. Have you heard of plantains? Plantains, yeah, plantains are banana cousins too. I've never had them, but I've seen people on TV make amazing dishes with plantains. Well, guess what? There are more than 100 different types of bananas. As with any fruit, these different types of bananas would have different flavors and different nutritional values. Yes, as with any fruit, different types yield different nutritional values. We can all love and prize the delicious, nutritious yellow banana. We can all cheer for red apples, peach-colored peaches, plum-colored plums, and all the mainstream fruit available to us. It is my opinion, which I offer since I'm telling the story, that people should know more about bananas. People should be aware of the great variety of plants put here to fortify and heal our bodies. Knowledge of plants should be pursued by each of us all our lives long. People should request and demand that these gifts from God be put on the market and made available at warp speed. The variety of bananas should be as accessible and diverse as the types of coffee bean. Imagine all the flavors and vitamins that are available to us because we are here on Earth. If you went to an amusement park, wouldn't you be disappointed when you got there and you bought your ticket and you went in and you found out only a couple of the rides were open?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. You know, as it is. I don't really have much to say. You're exactly right.
Yeah, they are, the foods that they select for us to choose from, it's very limited. But yeah, I'm going to continue. Thank you, Rob. So I don't think I'm overstating it when I say that civilizations are based on bananas. Oh, am I overstating it? Really? Then I don't care. Listen, here's what I'm talking about. Here in the United States, we have 50 United States. State number 50, joining the Union in the year 1959, is Hawaii. Bananas had something to do with that. Hawaii was a sovereign nation surrounded and protected by thousands of miles of Pacific Ocean. Hawaii had a royal family. It had luau's. It had surfing. Yeah, and it had koi too. All right, I know. Tropical Hawaii had riches hard to find elsewhere, including sugarcane, coconuts, and including bananas. Naturally, along comes a scary corporation seeking to gain greater control over assets in Hawaii, including the lucrative fruit distribution market. Many factors played out in Hawaii, starting with the coup d'etat against Queen Liliuokalani in 1893 until 1959, when monarchy was replaced by democracy. Replaced? Supplanted? Democracy? I'm glad Hawaii joined the Union. I had a good time when I was there, and I have a lot of respect for Hawaii's many great federal senators whose leadership has benefited our entire nation. In lots of ways, looking back from 2024, maybe it was the best of all ways things could have played out for Hawaii, although no one would say it was all nice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You could say that it was manipulated, everything that happened there, I would say. Yeah.
That's right. I agree. All right, so shout out to all the people in Hawaii. I got some more information here about another country called Guatemala. Here I go. I mentioned Hawaii because there's a pattern. I don't know if it's the same fruit distribution corporation that was in Hawaii, but in the 1950s, there was a fruit distribution corporation conspicuously working in cooperation with the United States for whatever its interests were in the country of Guatemala. Guatemala, that's in the jungles of Central America, south of Mexico. I learned that during the middle of the 20th century, a fruit distribution company, now I don't know if it's the same one from Hawaii, but this fruit distribution company was in Guatemala, in part, trying to gain control over the banana trade and collaborating with a certain spy agency to do it. A spy agency? It's a certain spy agency everyone knows. It's got 3 letters. It used to be OSS. It was established by Operation Paperclip engineers. Operation Paperclip, when the intelligence agents and crazy scientists came over to America after World War II. The first George Bush used to be the director of this spy agency. Okay, it's in the middle of the 20th century, and you're a fruit distribution corporation trying to secure banana plantations in the country of Guatemala. You collaborate with a spy agency that orchestrates turmoil and political instability there? For bananas? In the 1950s, Operation Paperclip people at the American spy agency I'm talking about We're already into mind control for real. You're a fruit distribution corporation and you get mixed up with those guys? Now that's bananas.
That's crazy, you know? That's wild that way things played out, you know?
So, you can learn about Guatemala just by going on Wikipedia. But then, if you're also like in the information circle in your community, you also know that during the 1950s, mind control was like in full force back then, and the same people were involved. All right, here I go with more. Rob, we're doing great. All right, let's call this banana distribution company Blue Sticker. Blue Sticker bananas. Everybody loves Blue Sticker bananas. They have their own little blue sticker. If you have a 2-year-old sitting in your shopping cart, you take the sticker off the bunch of bananas and you put it on the kid's nose. Now, I don't know if what happened in Hawaii and Guatemala are related, and I didn't try hard to check. To prove how much I don't know, let me add that I've heard that there's a monolithic fruit distributor here on Earth right now that is also operating off-world. For sure, I can't check that, but let's see if there's a pattern. If there was such a thing as space travel, it would be comforting to know that when you go to buy bananas at a market on some other planet or on some space station, you're going to see the same little familiar blue sticker like we do at home on Earth. Produce, farming, that's very hard work, very labor intensive. Machines help, and there are some good machines out there off-world, but most of the time, the best way to get the job done is with humans. Where to get humans who want to do this hard work? Want. I'm going to make things very scary for Halloween now. Ready? It's going to be pretty scary, but those following along with the secret space program lore know that it's scary and unfortunate, but understood and commonplace, and everyone likes eating bananas. Let's say next week, something unfortunate happens to some regular guy. He passes away. He had a nice life. He was good to people. He took care of his family, and he was probably on his way to heaven. To play it safe, let's just say that this nice guy was a subscriber to the Typical Skeptic podcast. So he heard about the soul traps, and he knew to stay out of the light. To be extra sure, he read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and he had it all under control. Anyway, after the funeral, this nice guy, this good person is there, dead in his coffin, and then, within a week, suddenly, he's not. The coffin, completely undisturbed, is now empty. When our deceased hero wakes up, he's alive and in a tank. He's in a tank on a spaceship, just like Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back. But he doesn't remember that movie anymore. He's in a tank. Next to his tank, there's another tank, and he's in that tank also. There are more tanks, tank after tank, and in all those tanks, he's in each one of those tanks too. The consciousness of our hero is spread out as far as that can be stretched among all of those clones. He doesn't remember Luke Skywalker or his own name or anything at all from his life on Earth, not his loves, joys, and passions, not his family, his career, his spiritual enlightenment, his sins and shortcomings, nothing. When he comes out of the tank, his body comes out all muscly, like he's been going to the gym since kindergarten. His mind is programmed with whatever it takes to elicit optimum performance. And for the next 200 to 300 years, this guy works on a jungle planet plantation picking bananas.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that can happen too, right?
Well, from what I've heard, it can happen. So that makes it like a novel. It's a story that could take place based on things that we know. And of course, here on your podcast, I don't mind admitting, I really think that it did happen. I'm sure it happens a lot. And that's why it's like a common story you could tell. It's as common a story as probably Tony Rodriguez's story, right? We hear about him, but there's got to be thousands and thousands of people that went through his experience too.
Yeah, that we don't hear about, that never come back. You know?
Yeah. Or they don't even get to tell their story.
Yeah.
So I have a little closing to the story here, Rob. Thank you so much. This is a short part. Here I go. Could it be that secret space program corporations are abducting corpses from coffins with portaling technology? Would an off-world fruit distributor participate in grave robbing on Earth to get galactically prized DNA and consciousnesses revivifying the dead, and then cloning and programming these people to work as slaves. For bananas, we can say it's science fiction, but what if you're next? All right, I got two commercials for you. Ready? I know you like my commercials. Blue Sticker Bananas, delivering fresh produce in cooperation with the CIA since the 1950s. Blue Sticker Banana. Yeah, Blue Sticker Bananas. Human rights? You don't like bananas?
I like that. I like that. That's interesting. That you really made this interesting, right? It's interesting to think about that this is really happening, you know?
And of course, another scary aspect is that it could be happening to lots of people and we don't even know about it, you know?
That's
And as much,
actually really scary, you
yeah,
know?
as much as we prepare, you know, I've heard you say many times on your show, you know, when this life is over, I'm going to stay out of light. I'm not coming back. And, you know, I don't think these people care. If they like what you got, you know, I don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Um, yeah. Let's see here. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
Right. So if you give me permission, I'd like to share that quick video clip that I got queued up, and then we could discuss it and discuss how scary it could be.
Okay.
Okay. There it is. All right. I think you guys can see it. I'm just having a tough time. Okay. I think I know where I am now. All right. So, Rob, can you see everything okay?
I can see half of the screen.
Okay. So I got to fix that. Let me fix it real
I
quick.
think if you scroll up a little bit, it'll, you know.
Right. Here we go. All right. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry, Rob. I had a. Let's see if I got it now. I did it again. No, I get what to do now. Hang on. Let me try one more time. It's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Let's try this. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rob. I got too many screens and not enough monitors. I'm overwhelming myself, but I will figure this out. Thanks for your patience.
Hey, everybody in the chat. E. Marquardt, Jason, Nancy, Lois, Warbleworm, 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 Warbleworm. That's an interesting name. Stanton Mick, hey Dan. Stanton says not much different than the fruit companies. Chiquita, Dole, all have reprehensible human rights. Yeah, they do. You know, records. Yeah, they do, Dan. You're right. It's exactly right. And it was good for you to call it out, Ray. You know.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I accidentally closed the file, but yeah, I do appreciate that comment. That I'm glad that someone else identifies with what I was saying. Right now I'm going back to my document. I hope I'm not sharing while I'm working here.
No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah. And then I'm still ready to come out on Thanksgiving, Rob. If you'll still have me, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Almost there. So, hey, I got it now. Let's see if I can share it.
That's
Now I just got to find my Zoom. There you are. Sorry about the delay, everybody. All right, how's that? Is that a little bit better?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go.
time to give our allies an edge, which is or Thomas J. Jackson, who was is
Here we go.
them with information on, with intelligence on little things they could do to win, because a lot of it was guerrilla warfare. So, yeah.
If this helped the US eventually win World War II, of World War II be otherwise? What about the USSR's role and the outcome on their side?
I'm sorry, Rob. I hastily started at the wrong spot.
I don't want John to get mad because I'm sharing his stuff, and I hope he doesn't mind. Like,
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want that either. I have a lot of respect for that guy. I learn a lot from him. Maybe I could just like speak off the
maybe
cuff,
you could just tell us
summarize.
what he says. That would be better.
Yeah,
Probably.
why don't I do that? I'm sorry. Let me try that instead. I just think that he does such a much better job than I could, and so that's why I was hoping to get him. So, if you're familiar with Montauk, and I know you are, I'm talking about newcomers to your audience. They have time travel capability, and they like to manipulate history to whatever ends they're trying to reach. And a lot of those objectives were planned by an artificial intelligence deep underneath the island of Montauk, which communicated the objective to the humans running the program. And so one of the things they wanted was to have a secret space program. And this is one of the timelines in which way it worked. So, for example, he indicates, and John Werperk is not the only one who did this. I also know that James Ring did a video about these wars also and how they contributed to the secret space program. So what if the South actually won the American Civil War and the North lost? Well, the North would be, North America would be split. You'd have a country called the United States on top and the Confederate States on the bottom. The Confederate States would still have a slave system. And not to get too deep into it here, but a slave system is a self-defeating cycle. It's not one that promotes growth of any kind. And so you would have a slave country in the Confederacy. You'd have the United States in the North, and they would not be nearly as effective and potent as our country is today with all 50 states, for example. And so when World War I breaks out, it turns out that, let's see, how does it work? When World War I breaks out, Germany actually wins the war. And the United States, the northern part of the country, doesn't do much. It can't affect much. The South, being separate, is also not as effective. And so Germany wins what we call World War I. And because Germany wins World War I, World War II is not necessary. And if World War II is not necessary, the Germans who ran Germany during World War II don't get space travel because they don't make a deal with the Draco, for example. And so there's no secret space program. So for whatever reason, and I can't get into it right now, the people in Montauk decided the South can't win the Civil War. So they went back and they arranged it so that the North would win the Civil War. Therefore, when World War I comes around, the United States is a large, strong, powerful country that can contend with Germany. Germany loses World War I. The country of Germany has to face serious reparations. And for 20 or 30 years, a certain nationalist party generates and takes over Germany, and that leads to World War II breaking out. And then if you're familiar with how World War II ends and how the Germans successfully went to Antarctica, left planet Earth from base 211, set up a base on the moon and then on Mars, voila, Montauk, objective accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, it's to a certain degree. Yeah. We're going off a lot of theory, though, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yes.
It's probably all right, but I mean, like, it's a lot of theory. That's the problem. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just, I believe it. It's just, it's theory. It's what it is. I don't know, but you're probably right. Yeah.
I don't have to be right. It's all right if I'm not right. I'd rather I wasn't right because I really like what I've been teaching in social studies books for 33 years.
I don't believe that either. I think there's something, I don't know. I don't know what's right. I hear so much. It's like, I don't know what to believe anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know I know the official narrative isn't right, but I know, I don't know. I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't know what's, I mean, it's a good theory though,
Yeah, it's fun to think about. And when I heard it, frankly, it scared me, because then because then the Operation Paperclip thing comes into play too. It suggests something scary. This is Halloween. We're allowed to pretend. We're allowed to create these scary stories, but basically the United States has been taken over. And, successful conquerors make sure that the conquered don't know that they're conquered. That's kind of what the Draco have done with Terrans on Earth. You've been conquered, but you don't know it. Just keep doing your thing and everything's fine because we're getting what we need from you.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Let's see what anybody says in the chat. No real comments on.
That's all right. I had no comment too. My mouth, dropped when like the first couple of times I heard them. But it sure is interesting and fascinating. And Halloween's a great time for scary stories. And I hope that, like myself, I hope that some people, when they're done listening to the podcast, they come back like a couple of days later, and go, what was that guy Ray in California talking about? No way. That does sound scary. And they think about it some more.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, for real. Yeah. Let me see here. Stanton Mick says overwhelming for sure. No, it's not overwhelming. It's a lot to think. And I don't know. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to go over?
No, I just wanted to share those two scary things and wish you a happy Halloween. And I'm really thankful that you let me, that you squeezed me in today. That's great. I really enjoy being on your show, and I can't wait till Thanksgiving. That's going to be great.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm trying to think of we didn't go really that long. We could. Do you want to take any questions or anything like that?
We could take questions, and then you know what? There's another kind of a scary story that's from Penny Bradley's testimony that I could share if you're interested.
Flixla wants to know, is Ray coming to the party tonight?
So, short answer is I'm thinking about it. And you say I could pick up the link on.
I can send you the link. I'll send you.
Okay. You send me the link. It's kind of early out here in California, so I'm probably available.
I mean, I don't know how many people are coming. I basically put the link out publicly on Facebook. I said, hey, anybody that wants to show up can. And then I sent the link to maybe about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 people. And then I tagged like 100 people on Facebook. So, but then, a couple people, messaged me back and said they were busy. And I understand that because people have kids and people have lives. So, it's like whoever shows up, shows up. That's kind of the way I do it. I do this on Halloween. I do it on New Year's. And, it's kind of like a free for all. Whoever comes, and anybody can share whatever they want. And like sometimes Tommy Edwards will show up and he'll play the guitar, or, people tell stories and share ideas and conspiracies, and just like, it's kind of like a free, it'll be fun. And I think people are wearing costumes tonight too. So I think people will be wearing costumes. I just got to get a little bit of rest. I haven't been feeling too well today for whatever reason, so I just gotta, I don't know what's up with me, but I'll be better by tonight, guys, for sure. I've been feeling kind of under the weather. I don't know what's wrong with me. Honestly, I have no clue,
I'm sure you'll feel better after you catch a power nap. But I know, you're not just operating from your studio with what we see on our video screens. There's all kinds of spirits and stuff, and they're constantly like battling in your studio. We don't want Rob and his friends to talk about this stuff. So I'm sure that stuff's going on, but there's no doubt you got protection. You're on show 1,600, whatever. If they're protecting you for all those shows, keep going. March on, soldier. You're doing great.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. But did you want to share the Penny Bradley story?
Sure. There's this story that it should be scary and intimidating, but it also makes me laugh a little bit. So I heard this story Penny Bradley told where, you and I know who Penny Bradley is. She's a nice little old lady.
I love Penny Bradley. I met her in person.
I know. I was so jealous. I saw that picture of you with her in Florida with all those other nice ladies. So, way to go.
And I wouldn't have been able to go. You were one of the people, like a lot of people made it happen for me to go, but you were one of the people, Ray. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Rob, you're so welcome. It was so worth it to, you made so many people happy by going down there, and, podcasting from there and meeting all those people. So I'm so glad that, thank you so much. You're very welcome. And so unfortunately, Penny Bradley is infirm, you know, here on Earth. She's got some illnesses that she deals with. And you would never think that, you know, this little old lady could possibly hurt you. So I believe she told a story. It kind of goes like this, that some youngster in a computer, at a computer console in some kind of government base or some kind of some deep underground military base or something like that. He had a computer and he did something stupid. And Penny Bradley doesn't blame him so much because he's young and, you know, not smart yet. She blamed his boss, because whoever this guy's boss was, he should have told him not to do this. Sometimes, you know, you have a targeting community, and so everyone understands this. Sometimes people are targeted and there's no rationale behind it. So this guy sitting behind a computer says, all right, I'm going to mess with Penny Bradley. Dumb idea. And I know you know Penny Bradley, you've had her on the show several times. You probably had dinner with her. So, you know, like, she's you know, totally harmless unless you make her angry or unless you like put her life in jeopardy. If she thinks she's in danger, she starts to activate. So what happened was she was sitting in her apartment and she's got like lots of protections up, and she's got like a metal plate in the wall and the drywall to protect. But however it worked, this guy got some kind of energy beam going, and it was like penetrating her body, causing her a lot of pain. And all of a sudden, you know, her instincts took over. And, you know, Penny Bradley can do this because she was, you know, her DNA was manipulated in utero, I believe. So she's still connected to the satellites that are orbiting Earth from Ronald Reagan's Star Wars program. So what she did was she traced the energy. She went up into space. She found out where the energy beam was coming from. She triangulated and went back down to where this operator was. And then she activated something on the Star Wars satellite that had some kind of space age weapon on it. And she sent an energy beam down to that computer and basically blew up that guy's office.
Well, oh my God. Wow.
Right. So, you know, the boss never even had a chance to say, hey, you made a mistake, because, you know, Penny made the point for him.
The moral of the story being, don't fuck with Penny Bradley.
Yeah, that's right.
It could be on a t-shirt, you know?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I agree.
I don't know. I had to say something funny to make you laugh. I don't know. I mean, like, you know, we got to laugh in life, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, well, yeah.
I believe she can
That's
do that
medicine.
too. I really believe she can do that with her mind, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess I got one more scary thing I can tell you. Well, not this part's not scary. Again, I only know about these people because of your show. I've had some readings done by the Psychic Duck, Psychic Liz Cross, and then
I love both of them. Liz Cross is awesome. You know,
yeah,
Psychic's cool too.
All three of those, Psychic Liz Cross, the Psychic Duck, and Sean Bond, they all blow my mind. But
oh yeah, they're all awesome. Yeah, I love Sean.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen Psychic Liz Cross's channel, it's amazing. I don't know. I'm sure Rob has seen it. She has a host who picks a subject, and then Liz Cross psychically does a mind probe and finds out exactly what that person's thinking. And it's just incredible. It reveals a lot of information. But anyway, so I was talking to Sean Bond, and you know, shout out to Sean Bond. Thank you so much, Sean Bond. He said that there's a good chance that I've been on my lab.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a
He said
military abductee.
Yeah, but the first time, this is the first time I've heard this kind of a story. It happened when the placenta broke during my birth. So like as soon as the placenta broke, according to Sean Bond and the information that he found out, the energy, you know, set off like an alarm, and I was detected, and then there was some kind of time manipulation. And that's about as far as I want to go with that.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you've had alien contact too? Because a lot of times my labs are preceded by alien contact. Or does he think that you have alien DNA or something?
So I do have, I do believe I've had alien contact. I know I've shared with you like in an email some months ago that I do a ritual hike in the morning in the dark before the sun comes up.
Oh,
and
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm taking pictures of orbs all the time. There's always orbs.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was saying, do you do that to stay in shape, or is it just like a hobby? Or
I apologize for talking over your question. So it's a little bit of both. I in the morning, because I'm not a great sleeper apparently. So in the morning I wake up like 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm all, dude, I can't go back to sleep. Might as well go on my hike. Go on my hike. It's totally dark. It's very quiet. And it's about an hour of darkness and quiet. And you could be alone with your thoughts up there. And then yeah, it does benefit my health. I know like after work, I would make sure I did my hike. Like on work days, I always do it after. I do a hike every day. I'm doing it like 5 or 6 days a week. And it doesn't have to be like, rigorous. It's just anaerobic. You're just walking for 60 minutes or 90 minutes. And now where I live in Newbury Park, it is so beautiful, even in the dark. It's just so great to walk around this town. So yeah, so I know I've seen orbs. I've got pictures of them. And I also know, because I met with Margie Kay. I think I told you about that a long time
I
ago.
love Margie Kay. She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I told Margie Kay I had this weird dream about a lion in my bedroom. And I'm all, what's going on with the lion? And, is some kind of symbol. And then she goes, it's an ET. And so she told me, the lion was just there checking you out. He was making sure you're okay. And, there's no abduction involved. So, anyway, but I also believe, that, I'm sure not just myself and lots of your listeners, but I believe a lot of us are probably, also off planet. We probably have an altar that we don't know about. Maybe we get glimpses of them in our dreams. And I think that that's something that we're all going to be learning to come to terms with in the next 10 or 15 years. Everyone comes on your show and they keep on saying the veil is thinning, the machine on the moon is breaking down, the matrix isn't as strong as it used to be, and we're all in for a change. We're all in here for the age of the Aquarius. But I would caution everybody, technology is wonderful, but we need to be the master of the technology. Technology should not be mastering us. I like what you had to say last time about the nanites and the soft drink that help you learn your language. It's my opinion, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do what you want to do with your own bodies. That's your business, but I don't think it's such a great idea to hand off my body and cooperate with the technology. I've heard what's going on with cyborgs. All they need is like a little tiny bit of your pituitary gland and bam, you're in a robot and you can't escape for 200 years. So it doesn't sound fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I don't even have anything to say about that. I agree. Yeah. It's a real, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it could be scary, So that makes me wonder, what do you think is going to happen when we do leave here? Like, do you think we have a choice, or?
So I do think we have a choice, but I do think that we do need to prepare in the same manner that we prepare to take a trip. Before you go on vacation, you're all, I got to pack some luggage, but then you also need to think, what am I going to pack? And I kind of hinted at it in the story. If you read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which I have not, that's one way to prepare yourself for the afterlife, so that you know what you're looking at when you're looking around.
I had it. I had the book before. I think I don't know if you heard me talk about it. I had it before, but I had it like at the beginning of I always used to listen to Art Bell when I was a kid and stuff. But then I bought in like 2015, I bought the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I was like trying to make heads or tails. I know it talks about like these different Bardo states you go to, and like it's very confusing. But I mean, I was like, man, if this is the afterlife, I was like, I'm gonna be lost. It was like it's like. It almost makes you, I had to get rid of the book. I was like, it was overbearing. You know what I mean? But I think maybe I would look at that same book now and I'd have a lot better understanding of it, 9 years ago.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, Rob. I'm pretty sure I tried to read it and it was too much for me too. And again, that was many years ago before, either of us are where we're at the place now. But, there's other ways that you can learn about it. I love, the interview you did with Michael Martin, the blonde-haired gentleman who's constantly.
Oh, yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah. I like
yeah.
him.
So, he's a guy that we can learn from. Oh man, I know there's a bunch of them and you can hear from near-death experiencers, but let's see. One of the other things I want to say is like, while we're on this earth now, we really need to develop our consciousness so that we're not taken off guard. You wouldn't go out and play an NFL game if you haven't worked out, for several months, for example. So just like that, when we leave, we're leaving our bodies behind. We're only taking our consciousness and our soul with us. we might as well beef up our consciousness, get it with some steroids in the natural way so that it's nice and strong and aware, so that when we get there, we know what's going on and we can be empowered. So one thing I would do is, before we go to bed at night, and again, I've heard this from people on your show or other podcasts, before I go to bed at night, I say, you know what, tonight I want to go to source. I don't want to dream. I don't want to go visit friends or family. I want to go to source. So in case, I pass away in my sleep, I'm going directly to source. I know that if you have a plan for, you have to actually imagine, why don't you sit down? I'm speaking rhetorically here. Why don't you sit down, close your eyes for a little minute, and imagine? Okay, imagine you're dead. Where would your mind go? Well, I'm sure there's lots of different places you'd like to try. So you could meditate on this for several days. But then eventually you're going to say, well, if there really is an afterworld like I'm learning about, then I need to know to stay out of the light. I need to have a plan to join my soul family. I'm going to be looking for vibrations, not just faces, vibrations that are familiar to me, because I know there's a lot of aliens that will trick me and put on an appearance of something that I want to see and then convince me to come back or convince me to go someplace I don't want to go. I'm totally speaking off the cuff, but I'm talking about stuff that I've learned in part on your program. So if we think about these things now, we might be better prepared. But if we give it no thought, we're probably going to be duped again.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I was to say that I don't even go to the light even after all I learned, because I have some near-death experiences that come on. They think that it's like totally okay. They think it's like, they think it's like the right thing to do. It's crazy. I don't know. It's like they think it's like they think it's, because they think they've experienced it and it's all light and love and stuff, but like nobody really knows till you go through that tunnel. And then do you wake up in a birth canal right back here, or do you really go somewhere else? It's so hard to say. I'll never know. I don't know.
Well,
Speaking of Halloween, what makes me think is like, what if like we don't go to the light, and then we end up a ghost, and you're stuck on Earth for like a while, like becoming a ghost. And I don't know if you remember that guy I used to have on my show named Michael Lynch. He was interesting. He died, by the way. He was really cool. But he told me that on the other side, when you're a spirit, he said the universe bends to your will. He said it has something to do with the law of attraction. Like he said, how we can manipulate things here. He said the force is like 10,000 times stronger over there. He said if you want a cigarette and you think of a cigarette over in the afterlife, he said you'll have a cigarette. He said you just have to imagine it. I don't know what made him think that way, but he was a pretty intelligent guy. But he had never experienced the afterlife. This was just like all hypothesis that he was making, So I can't say if it was for sure or not, but it's interesting.
Yeah. So I've learned something that might contribute to what he was trying to say, and that is that, everyone talks about Earth having so much density and the fact that we have gravity. And when you don't have gravity, there's not as much density. And so you can manifest what you want right away. But down here, it takes a long time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah. That does make sense. I like that. Yeah.
And they often talk about Earth being a school, and I'm starting to appreciate it now. Just recently, like Samuel Chong, the gentleman who wrote the
Taboo
Prophecy.
Translated it. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, he said I can't say it better than he did, but he said something like, Earth is a tough school, and you want to be grateful to be in such a tough school because of the learning that it affords you. You go to the best schools because you want to be the best trained. You want to be at the top of your game. When I leave Earth after all these challenges, I can feel pretty confident as I go around through the galaxy and the universe that I'm going to be in good shape, and I've been well prepared.
Yeah, I agree. That's really well said. Yeah. And let me ask you this, Ray, did you ever have anything weird happen on Halloween, or anything like paranormal, anything like weird, like any weird experiences you want to share, that like anything in your teenage years when you were partying, or throughout your college years, or anything that happened while you were teaching that was weird, or just like anything weird, paranormal, strange that happened on Halloween? I'm just wondering.
So, yeah, you really asked a great question. This is probably not the story to share on the Typical Skeptic podcast, but it is the story to share if you're Ray in California. I used to live in the neighborhood where I teach, and for Halloween, I would give out potatoes. kids come to my door and they would say trick or treat. I'd give them a potato and say, you figure it out. And
That's hilarious.
so after a while, obviously I became a landmark and people had to go they had to find my house and go by my house and get a potato for Halloween. And I remember one time I had a fourth grader, a young boy in my class. His mother used to go to school with me. Anyway, I was the first house on his Halloween trip. He came up, he rang my doorbell and he said, trick or treat. And I gave him a potato. Then he turned around to his mom. He said, okay, Mom, I'm done. Let's go home.
Like he came for the potato. That's it.
That's all. He wasn't going to trick or treat. He just wanted to get a potato. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Only that would happen to you. Like, so I just imagine only that happened to someone like you, Ray, because like you just have that kind of personality. Like, it seems like strange things happen to you. Like, but like it's cool. It's all good stuff. It seems like you have a really good aura and a good vibe. So like it seems like good stuff would follow you.
I hope so, and I feel like you're right, but I'm always a little unsure of myself. I'm always trying hard.
Can I just tell you honestly why I'm a little bit off today, and I'll tell the audience. So like I've been fine all day, right? And then I just started taking a new supplement for my liver, and it was helping. Everything was fine, and the pain went away, and I was like, yeah, great, like this is working, I started taking Tadka. Matthew Mornian was so nice. He sent it to me. Matthew Mornian's a great person, by the way. Him and his wife. They're amazing people, but they just really are. I mean, he's like a brother to me. But anyway, so he was nice enough to send me this stuff called Tadka, which is like really good, especially if you have fatty liver. Well, so I've been fine like the last few days. Haven't been in pain at all. Then I ate a little bit today for dinner, right before I came to this podcast, and now my liver is killing me, or my stomach is killing me. And I just it just made me miserable because I was like, why am I back to this? So while you were talking just now, I messaged Priscilla and I said, Priscilla, can you please do something because I don't want to be in pain anymore. She told me to tell her. She said, if you ever get in pain again, because she messaged me before this and she was like, how you doing? I was like, I'm great. I haven't been in pain. Like this new supplement's working. And I said, the energy work you've been doing on me, because Priscilla actually has like amazing abilities. Priscilla is a real remote healer. And I say that with like I'm not like, this isn't like something funny for Halloween. No, she really like anytime I ask her to take my pain away, she's like, boom, she takes it away. She's just has something weird and magical. She says it's because of the love. We have a really good friendship and, I want to go see it. But anyway, so she's able to do that. And I don't know how she does it, but she does, and Matthew says she thinks she really has her shit together. I said, I do too. I think she's really, I think she's an amazing person. I wish I lived closer to her so I could, be around her more, but I don't know. We live like thousands of miles away. So that's what I was doing while you were talking. I had my head down. I was messaging her because that's what's going on. I'm in pain again, and I don't know what's going on. I had tests done and shit, and like nothing came back, and then my blood work was coming back fine. So I don't know if it's just fatty liver. I'm trying to get in shape again. I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to eat right. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, it sucks, It really does. It just sucks. I hope I'm not like this tonight, I don't know.
Rob, I'm so sorry that you're in pain. And I hope you feel better soon. And I have confidence that you will. So hang in there. But again, I'm really sorry. And I'm going to do my best to send you positive vibrations. And I don't know, when you're talking about your physical health, everything else as a subject pales in comparison. And if you want, I don't mind.
I just wanted to let you know that's why I was a little bit off today. If I was, and it's nothing against you. I really like you, Ray. I think you're a really good person, and I enjoy having you on the show. I'm just in pain, so I'm just like kind of like not, Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry you're in pain. Anyway, this is it's kind of related. It's not really a Halloween story, but I know you know who Wayne Dwyer is.
Well, how do I know that name? That name sounds familiar.
He's like a motivational speaker. He passed away some years ago. I think I'm saying his name right, Wayne Dwyer. He wears a little driver's cap beanie thing. But anyway, he was telling a story once about how his daughter had a skin condition and she healed herself. And, the story is stuck in my mind because over the years, I've heard other people talk about this kind of thing. And it makes me think that there's something to it. So anyway, his daughter, she was like somewhere between the age of 10 and 17 or something like that. She had a skin condition, and obviously they went to the doctor and no one could figure it out. And, it was kind of, a problem, a little bit of a stigma, always had to wear long sleeves or whatever. And then one day, the daughter of Wayne Dwyer, if I've got the story right, she actually spoke to her skin and spoke to the illness. And she said, you know what? I understand, we've been together for a long time, and she kind of like made a compromise, and she scented love, and she said, and now I'm done. Kind of like when you say, during meditation, I'd like to dissolve this contract now. Let's dissolve this contract, please. So I believe that that's what she did. She like spoke to the illness, and I swear, she says, or Wayne Dwyer relates, that the next morning she woke up and the skin condition was healed and never returned.
How do you speak to the illness? What do you say?
Well, so this goes, this relates to something that I heard psychic Liz Cross say recently. I don't know if it's in some other recording, but everything has consciousness. A rock has consciousness, a tree does, inanimate things do, and every single cell in your body has a consciousness. And you can speak to you can speak to the consciousness of anything. And I know, like on my first program, I told you about, I forgot that guy's name, but he was on the Imagination podcast, and he learned how to heal through our Arcturians.
By the way, I want to interview that girl. Her name
she
always says a prayer at the beginning of every show. I was
Yes.
like, I think that's nice she does that. Like, I can't remember her name. What's her name? Can you refresh my memory?
Her name is Emma.
Yes, Emma. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Emma if she ever sees this from the Imagination, because she covers a lot of similar stuff that I do. Like, she'll cover a lot of target individuals. I cover that, So I see a
Right.
lot of similarities in what we do, So I kind of
Yeah.
like her, as a
Right.
colleague, she has a really good. I like her show a lot, I do.
That's right. I totally agree with you. And you mentioned that when she says a prayer, it's very nice, but I know you're listening to the words of her prayer. She's setting up a shield. She's given the finger to all negative spirits to stay out of her program. And she very rarely has those little technological blips, like, oh, someone's audio cut out, someone's video cut out. She's setting up a shield. We don't see it, but I believe in it. But anyway, she had this dude, he was German, and he was in deep underground military bases, and he was talking to some blue Arcturians, and the blue Arcturians were telling him, how do you heal yourself? Overcome. And
it just sounds so crazy, right? We know it's real. It's probably real, but it just sounds like what?
Oh, happy Halloween, everybody! It's Rain, California. Yeah, I got some crazy stuff to talk about. I love it. I can't talk about this anywhere else. Anyway,
I know, I love it. I love talking about this stuff, and you just made me laugh. So that's
it's good.
What happened?
It's the best medicine.
Somebody was in an underground base with Nazis and blue Arcturians.
Dude, you just made me laugh by repeating what I just said. It's hilarious.
I know, but what's crazy is this stuff's probably really real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's like really out there. It's like
Yeah.
it's all existing, and if it's not existing here, it's existing in a parallel reality or something. But I have a feeling it's existing in this very physical reality too. It's just what's not seen is often what
Right.
what's reality, because we're so limited. So it's
I think, who else is laughing? The blue Arcturians and the Nazis. They're having a good time too. 'Cause
yeah.
nobody knows about them, and they're just doing whatever. Anyway, so this guy,
I want to know the fucking reptilian who has a crank on my liver. So every time he needs to feed loose, he cranks my liver and he makes me in pain. I want to get that motherfucker in a room. I don't care if he's 7 foot tall. I'll choke that motherfucker out. I'll be like, you're never touching my liver again. But I have a feeling that's kind of what's going on too. I think it's a loose thing with my liver. I think it's a reptilian, and I think he has a crank on my liver. And anytime he wants to feed, he just cranks it. And then I'm like, oh, but if I ever see that motherfucker, it's on. I swear to God, he's dead. I'm just trying to make you laugh, but I'm serious.
yeah, well, I hope you get that bastard. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'll be there to cheer you on. So, anyway, this has been fun, and I enjoyed our little aside there. But yeah, the thing is, you can, in meditation, obviously you have to, everyone would have to start off simple. Can I just feel my fingertips? How do they feel? And if my fingertips could talk to me, what would they say? And that's like one of the things that I'm learning, like just like this last week. I think that's like a lot of how these psychics operate. They ask themselves on the inside, what would this person say? And they actually hear an answer. I did QHHT once, And I know that when Jeroen, the gentleman who had me under hypnosis, I know that when he would ask a question, the answer would come in my mind before he finished the sentence. So there is something inside of us that will answer the question, but we need to ask, and also, so we need to know what to ask, and also we need to know how to listen. And that involves obviously, clearing out your brain and making sure like you're not really thinking of anything, getting into that meditative state. Oh, you had the theta wave lady on your show a couple of weeks ago. That was awesome. So yeah.
Oh, Karen Abrams. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a,
Yeah. When we're
I
in a
should go
state
back
like
and
that.
listen to that healing. Like maybe I should. She's pretty good with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. But
So
yeah,
I just wanted to say one more thing, because another guest on your show, oh, your light turned off. It's been an
yeah, I
hour.
got it. Okay, here we go.
I know that timer now. So you had another guest on your show, Rob, a gentleman, he was quite extraordinary. But one of the things he mentioned at the end was that maybe you might consider, ditching the vaping. And
I know. I'm gonna try to get one of those natural or those health vapes. They're like instead of like nicotine and tobacco, it's like real healthy stuff. You know what I mean? It's nothing like it's like a new thing they have out. It's like I don't know what it is, but I am gonna do that.
I want to tell you that there's these
I've
plug-in
been
air
smoking
fresheners.
cigarettes too. I got news for you. I've been smoking cigarettes. I mean, because sometimes I'm in pain. I'm like, oh fuck this. I get and I just go smoke
Yeah.
a cigarette. But I mean, I don't. It's not. I only smoke like 2 or 3 a day. But I mean, still, like it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Especially 'cause I work out. I try to work out too, and I don't want to be working out and smoking. It's not.
Yeah, that's right. No, I just want to say again, Halloween, scary. Those little plug-in things that they're supposed to deodorize a room or whatever. They heat up the oil, and then the oil evaporates, and so basically everyone in the room is vaping whatever that stuff is, and what's in that oil. We don't really know what's in that oil, and we already know from guys like Robert F. Kennedy that there's a whole bunch of toxins in our body. There's like 200 unnatural chemicals in all of our bodies that don't need
God,
to be there
Ray,
at all.
guess what? I'm a victim of voter fraud. I forgot
Oh,
to tell this. I forgot to announce this. So everybody's going to hear this for the first time now, and I'm going to talk about it tonight on the Halloween party. I am a true evidence of voter fraud, and I have the email to what's the word I'm have the email to prove it, right? So I'll explain a little bit. So I wasn't even going to vote this year, but then I started to lean towards Trump, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to vote because he seems like he's doing the right thing. And I was like, but if you ask me, I'm totally against politics. Like I hate it.
right.
Like no politician has ever helped me in my life. You know what I mean? But I mean, I was like, I'm just gonna buy into the hype, and I'm gonna vote for Trump. And I like what he has to say for the most part. So I switched my thing from independent to Republican, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I requested a mail-in ballot. That mail-in ballot never came. So I was like, okay, I'll just vote in person. And then I got an email today saying, we received your ballot. You can track it here. And I was like, oh, so someone voted for me. That's fucking
Wow.
great. So they're pulling out all stops to like do whatever they can already. I mean, if this stuff's already happened, I can't even imagine what's going to happen November 5th. So just hold on to your pants, people, because or whatever, I don't know what the saying is, but it's gonna get crazy, because I'm an actual victim of voter fraud, you know.
I don't know what to say. I know that I prefer when we all talk exopolitics and not geopolitics.
I
You
know,
know,
I know, I
yeah.
know, I know, I know. Yeah.
But
That's
I,
why I don't even bring up politics on my show.
yeah,
I try to stay away from it. I try to because not a lot of people agree with this person or that person. And I'm like, I'd rather just have everybody interested in like the paranormal, or like you said, exopolitics, But I mean, I just
but
had to tell that story because it happened today, and I was like, I can't believe this. This is. It's only because you hear stuff of like here you hear like boxes of ballots are being burned in the streets and stuff like that, and you're like, is this real? And then something like this happens. I'm like, wow, maybe some of that stuff is real because like, why would that happen? It's like weird. You have all the accusations, then something like this happens to me, and I'm like, what? And it's not, I'm swear to God, on my dad's grave it happened. I have the email to prove it. I can send you the email. It's insane, And I wonder. I don't know. I don't know.
I think you had Kozel Ouch on your show I don't know if he said,
I love Causal. He's hilarious.
yeah, oh yeah, he is. He's awesome and very entertaining too. And I think I saw him on James Rink's show, but I appreciate what he said. He said, regardless of how people want things to go in November here in the United States, people should not attack the infrastructure. The infrastructure is what benefits all of us, and disrupting the infrastructure isn't going to help. So there's ways to communicate. There's ways to change. There's ways to address things. But I would plead with everybody to remember all the good things that we have because of the infrastructure that we've created over a couple of 100 years, and we shouldn't mess it up when we got a good system, because if we shouldn't take down a system when we don't really have something to replace it yet, right? That's kind of like falling into their trap when they do their shock and awe, and then they say, oh well, we'll just have to come in and take over because you guys don't know what to do. That's the first step in giving up our rights.
That's a shame that like what America's become, you know what I mean? We used to be the land of the free. We used to be like the beacon of freedom and the hope of every other country in the world. Every other country used to look towards America as like the place for freedom and like goodness. And now look at all this stuff that's coming out about politicians and Hollywood people who are drinking adrenochrome and pedophiles and P. Diddy, and like it's like disgusting. It's like what has happened to our country? You know what I mean? People can't trust their kids around people anymore. You know what I mean? Because they don't know if there's some kind of sicko. I would be surprised. People can't even take their kids trick or treating. Speak of Halloween, people probably can't even take their kids trick or treating because they're afraid. Remember when we were kids and we were worried that there'd be metal in the candy? I wonder what they're getting now. Maybe a little bit of graphene oxide or what who knows, man? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit crazy conspiratorial. I'll tone it down, but I'm just saying these are options. I mean, and our country's become like it's become, it's not good. We really need to change. Like we need to change everything, and we need and you know where it starts. It doesn't start with the politicians, and that's where I have to agree with a lot of people like Corey Enderlad who comes on my show. It's not the politicians who we have to look for to change. We change first inside, and then we change the people around us. Then we change our circles, and then we all change together, and then we revolution, and we change the whole system from inside out. I don't want to look towards a politician to fix my life because they never will, no matter who it is. I have hope for Trump, I do, but I don't think any politician can fix this. We have to fix it, and that's where it starts, I think. I don't know.
Rob, that was so wonderful. I think some people are going to be snipping that clip and putting it on their own platforms because that was an excellent speech. I really enjoyed it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, sorry, you probably got to go. Yeah. Well, I hope you decide to come to the thing tonight. I'll send you the link after. And thank you so much, Ray. It was awesome that you came on today, and I appreciate you coming on. And
Rob, I hope you feel better. Thanks so much for having me on. I had a lot of fun talking to you, and I want to wish everyone a happy Halloween. That was great, so much. It was so wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and how can people follow you and stuff?
Oh, so I don't have a website or anything, but I do have a Gmail address. It's to Ray in California, all one word, lowercase, to Ray in California @gmail.com. You send me an email and say hi if you want. But I'm hoping to see everyone on Thanksgiving. And I got this top hat. It's for a costume. I'll be wearing a costume for one of the parts I'm going to play on Thanksgiving. And anyway, thanks a lot, Rob. And God bless you. Keep up the good work. You're doing great.
Thank you so much, Ray. It was good having you, and I'll be seeing you soon.
Hopefully, all right.
I'm on Thanksgiving, but I will be. I'm going to fight, So.
All right. All right. Take